I told my husband, Julián, I told you so. And I started laughing at him when I picked up the paternity test results. I had my daughter, Elena, about 6 weeks ago. She was born with that expensive-looking blonde hair and light blue eyes. But when I say light blonde, I mean almost white. Julián and Julián, I both have brown hair and brown eyes. The second the nurse entered the delivery room, I saw his face change. He went mute instantly and did nothing but stare. We came home from the hospital, and that very night he cornered me in the kitchen while I was trying to make a piece of toast because I hadn't eaten anything decent in about 2 days. Then bluntly, he told me he wanted a paternity test. I was so tired I could barely stand. I was still bleeding. Everything ached. And even then he was asking me for that. I tried to explain that babies can be born with lighter features that change over time. My mother was blonde until she was 4, and even his own cousin was born a redhead and later his hair turned brown. But he didn't want to hear it. He said if I didn't accept the test, he would file for divorce right then and there. So I said, fine, do what you have to do. I was too exhausted to fight for it. The next morning, he packed a suitcase and went to stay at his parents' house. He didn't want to help me take the baby to her first pediatrician appointment or anything. He just left. 3 days after he moved out, his mother, Beatrice, called me. She didn't even ask how I was or how her granddaughter was. She launched straight into a huge speech about how, if the test was done and the baby wasn't her son's, she would make sure I got nothing in the divorce. She used the phrase, "leave me in ruins," about 3 times. I was sitting there holding my daughter, who wouldn't stop crying, and I just hung up on her. My sister, Lucia, moved in with me to help during those first weeks. She was the one who got up with me at night. She made sure I ate and did the laundry. My husband called me only once to ask when the results would be ready. That was all. 1 call in 3 weeks. The results finally arrived yesterday. The lab called me in the morning and said we could pick them up in the afternoon. I sent a message to my husband, and he showed up shortly after. He didn't bring anything for the baby, nor did he ask. He entered the house like a stranger. He looked toward where our daughter was sleeping, but he didn't go near her. My sister was in the kitchen making coffee, but when she saw him enter, she stood still, watching him with that look she always used when assessing if someone was a threat. "The results came this morning," I said. My voice sounded flat, empty. I had no energy for emotions. He stood in the middle of the living room. I left the envelope on the table. The manila envelope was exactly where I had left it from the lab, unopened. I had waited 3 weeks for this moment. 3 weeks where he lived comfortably at his parents' house, while I bled, cried at night, and learned to love alone. He approached the table. His hands trembled as he took the envelope. He opened it slowly, as if he were afraid of what he might find inside. He pulled out the sheet. His eyes scanned the document. I saw the exact moment the result hit him. His face fell. He turned pale. His legs seemed to fail him because he had to lean on the table. 99.9% probability of paternity, he read aloud, almost in a whisper. "Wait, don't say anything. She's mine," he told me, looking at me. "She's my daughter." Yes, I let the paper fall. He put his hands to his face. My God, what have I done?" "You abandoned us," I replied. The word sounded heavy. It wasn't just me anymore. It was the 2 of us. "You accused us. You humiliated us." I didn't know. I thought," he tried to justify himself. "You assumed without any proof, without any reason, just because our daughter was born with light hair," I completed without any mercy. "I'm sorry." His voice broke. "I'm so sorry." My sister came out of the kitchen, crossing her arms and looking at him with absolute contempt. "You're sorry? Is that all you have to say?" Julián was startled, realizing there were witnesses to his shame. "You abandoned your wife right after she gave birth," my sister continued, her voice cold and cutting. "You left her bleeding, exhausted, alone with a newborn baby. Your mother threatened her. You didn't ask once how your daughter was, and now you're here. You see a paper and think a sorry fixes everything, is that it?" He tried to defend himself. I was confused. "Confused," my sister repeated with sarcasm. "How convenient." He turned to me, ignoring her. "Please, let me explain. I was scared. When I saw her so different from us, my mind started making things up. I interrupted him. Your mind invented an infidelity that never existed. Why was it easier to doubt me? No. He shook his head, taking a step closer. It's not that. It's that my cousin, remember the one born a redhead? Well, my aunt. There were rumors in the family that he wasn't my uncle's son, and it turned out to be true. When my cousin turned 15, everything came out. It was a horrible scandal. And when I saw our daughter with that almost white hair, I thought you were like his aunt. You compared me to a woman I don't even know. You assumed the worst of me based on family gossip. It was a mistake. He knelt in front of me. He literally knelt. It was the worst mistake of my life. Please, forgive me. I looked at him kneeling on the floor of our living room. 3 weeks ago, this image would have left me destroyed, or I would have cried with relief. I would have run to hug him, to tell him everything was fine. But now, looking at him there, I only felt exhaustion. Get up, I said. Not until you forgive me. Get up, I repeated more firmly. He stood up slowly. He had tears in his eyes. He looked genuinely destroyed. But I was destroyed, too, and he wasn't there to see it. Can I see her? He asked, looking toward the room. Something in my chest tightened. She was his daughter. Biologically, legally, he had a right, but every fiber of me wanted to say no. I wanted to make him suffer as I had suffered. My sister was waiting for my decision, ready to intervene if I asked. 5 minutes, I finally said, and don't you dare wake her up. He walked toward the crib as if he were walking toward something sacred. He stood there watching her sleep. I saw his shoulders start to shake. He was crying silently. She's beautiful, he whispered. She's perfect. Forgive me. I missed her first 3 weeks. His voice sounded broken. I lost everything. Yes, he turned to me. Let me fix it. Please, let me come home. I'll be better. I swear. I will never doubt you again. No, I simply said. He froze. What? I'm not coming. Home? Not today and not soon. But she's my daughter. We're family. Family, I repeated the word as if it were bitter. Family doesn't abandon. Family doesn't accuse. Family doesn't threaten. Your mother, Beatrice, said she would leave me in ruins and you did nothing to stop her. You didn't call to say she was wrong? You didn't defend my honor? You simply left me at the mercy of her attacks while you hid in her house. I didn't know she had called you. Liar, my sister intervened. Your mother told you. I'm sure she bragged about it. He didn't deny it. His silence was enough. Confirmation. I want to try again, he insisted, looking at me with desperation. Give me a chance, just one. I'm going to give you something, I said, keeping my voice steady. But it's not what you want. I went to my room and pulled out a folder I had been preparing for the past 2 weeks. I handed it to him. What is this? My terms, I replied. If you want any chance of being in our lives, these are my non-negotiable terms. He opened the folder and started reading. I saw his expression change on every page. This is very restrictive. These are my conditions. You either accept them all now, or you only see us through lawyers. He read aloud, his voice trembling. Mandatory individual therapy 3 times a week. Couples therapy twice a week. You will sleep in the guest room with no access to my bedroom. You will not make any decisions about the baby without my explicit approval. Your mother will be forbidden from contacting us for at least 6 months. 6 months? He interrupted. 6 months, my sister reaffirmed. And that's only if she shows genuine change. If not, it's permanent. You will sign a post-nuptial agreement where you waive all shared assets in case of divorce. You will hand over all your passwords for social media, email, and your phone. Any lie, any omission, any sign of distrust from you, and the marriage ends immediately without negotiation. He closed the folder. He looked at me as if he couldn't believe what he had just read. This eliminates all my privacy, all my autonomy. Exactly as you eliminated my dignity, I replied. For 3 weeks, I had no privacy. Your mother knew about the paternity test. Probably your whole family knew. How many people did you tell that you doubted me? How many people are judging me right now? No answer. That was also enough of an answer. These conditions are what I need to even consider trying again. If you can't accept them, then you need to leave now and contact my lawyer to arrange shared custody. You have a lawyer? He sounded surprised. For 2 weeks. Did you think I was just sitting here waiting for you to decide if you wanted to come back? My sister smiled slightly. I had the idea to contact the lawyer. Protect your future, I told her. He looked at the folder, then at me, then at his daughter sleeping in the crib. I need time to think. You have until tomorrow at 6 p.m., I said. After that, we'll assume your answer is no, and the legal process will continue. That's not enough time. It's more time than you gave me when you cornered me in the kitchen demanding the paternity test. He had no argument for that. Okay, he said finally. I'll think about it. One more thing, I added as he headed for the door. If you decide to accept, you'll have to come here tomorrow and apologize to my sister. She gave up her life to help me when you abandoned me. You owe her an apology. My sister looked surprised but nodded with approval. He looked at my sister. For the first time, he seemed to really see her, to see everything she had done. You're right, he said quietly. I'm sorry, truly, I'm sorry. Don't tell me now, my sister responded coldly. If you come back tomorrow, if you accept everything, tell me then. Until then, your apologies mean nothing. He nodded. He left defeated, small. Nothing like the man who had cornered me in the kitchen demanding a test. He walked to the door. He stopped with his hand on the knob. I love you both, he said without turning. You and our daughter. I know I ruined everything, but I really love you. Love isn't enough, I replied. Love without respect is nothing. Love without trust is poisonous. If you really love us, you'll have to earn the right to be in our lives. He opened the door and walked out. My sister closed it behind him and locked it. We stood in silence for a moment. Then she came and hugged me. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. And for the first time in 3 weeks, I cried, but not out of sadness. I cried with relief because I finally found my voice. I had set my boundaries. I chose my dignity over my desperation. He returned the next day, accepted all my terms, signed the post-nuptial agreement before a notary, handed over his passwords, apologized to my sister, and started therapy. That was 3 months ago. Now I was standing at the door while he held another bouquet of roses, the 4th this week. I told you I don't want flowers. I just want you to show me you're sorry. Show me by being on time for therapy. The flowers are going in the trash. He left the flowers on the floor and walked away. 20 minutes later, we were with the therapist, Dr. Ramirez. She wasted no time. This marriage is on life support. My job isn't to save it, it's to help. You decide if it's worth saving. The session was tough. The next day, someone rang the doorbell. It was my mother-in-law, Beatrice. I hadn't seen her since that call. I need to talk to you, she said with a soft, fake voice. We have nothing to talk about. Please, it's about my granddaughter. Your granddaughter is fine. I don't need anything from you. I'm her grandmother. I have rights. No, you don't have any rights. You lost them when you threatened me. Her mask cracked. I was protecting my son. You were attacking your daughter-in-law without proof. I'm giving you 6 months of distance per the agreement. If you don't respect my boundaries, it will be permanent. I closed the door. She kept knocking, but I ignored her. That night, Julián called me. My mother says you were harsh. Your mother showed up uninvited, expecting immediate access. What about what I want? Silence. Then, you're right. I'm sorry. I'll talk to her. 2 days later, Beatrice appeared with a handwritten letter asking for forgiveness, talking about past traumas and how she projected her fears onto me. I showed it to my individual therapist. What do you feel when you read it? I feel like she just wants access to the baby. I don't think she's changed. What do you need to see to believe she changed? Time and consistency. I wrote a message to my mother-in-law. I read your letter. Forgiveness doesn't mean immediate access. The 6 months remain. After that, 30-minute supervised visits once a month if you respect the boundaries. Her response came an hour later. I accept. Thank you. I showed the exchange to Julián in therapy. Does 6 months seem reasonable to you? Dr. Ramirez asked him. Honestly, it doesn't seem like much time, he said. And what seems reasonable to you? That she walks in tomorrow like nothing happened? I questioned. He didn't answer. In his silence, I saw that he still believed his mother deserved concessions. This marriage would only survive if he chose a side. In my individual therapy, they asked me, "What do you want? Not for your marriage, for you." I went silent. I had no answer. Think about it for next week. I spent days thinking. Before the marriage, I worked in freelance graphic design. I gave up everything to build the family. 5 years without working, depending on him. That night, I opened my laptop. I updated my portfolio. I looked for remote jobs. A week later, I had an offer for a startup. It wasn't much money, but it was mine. I announced it in the next therapy session. I got a job. I start Monday. He blinked. A job? Who will take care of Elena? My sister will help me for a few hours. I'll work the rest during her naps. It's not about necessity. It's about wanting to have something of my own. The doctor intervened. How does it make you feel that she wants to work? Insecure, he admitted. If it makes you feel that way, you confirm you never understood anything, I said. The job starts Monday. It's not negotiable. That night, I checked his therapy logs. I called his therapist. He's doing the real work, but he has resistance regarding his mother and accepting responsibility. The next day, he had his first supervised visit with the baby. My sister would be present. He arrived on time. Hi, he said nervously. You have 1 hour, my sister said. He sat on the sofa, took the baby with trembling hands. Hi, little one. I'm your daddy. I'm so sorry for abandoning you. I watched him from the doorframe. He changed her diaper clumsily and gave her her bottle. He didn't look at his phone once. When the hour was up, he handed her back delicately. On Monday, I started my job. It felt good to use my brain again. My boss paid me the first 2 weeks in advance. I opened my own bank account. It was my money. The visits continued week after week. In the 6th week, the baby smiled when she saw him enter. Look at that, he said, his voice breaking. She recognized me? I didn't say anything, but it was true. In couples therapy, I confessed, having my job makes me realize I can survive alone. If I choose to stay with you, it will be because I want to, not because I depend on you. Do you want to stay? He asked me tense. Ask me in 6 months or maybe a year. A year later. Elena turned 18 months. She was walking, talking, recognizing both parents. Julián had kept every promise. New job. One his mother didn't get him. Weekly therapy. 0 toxic contact. That day, I made the final decision. Julián, sit down. He was nervous. I gave you time to show real change. You kept every promise. I pulled out a folder. He turned pale. They weren't divorce papers. They were the conditions to try living together again. Couples therapy continues for at least 2 more years. My accounts remain separate. The house is in my name only. If you come back, it's as a guest. Your mother has no contact with our daughter until she is at least 12 years old. He read in silence. These are very harsh terms. They are necessary. You destroyed my trust. Do you accept? Yes, I accept. One more. Unwritten rule. If you ever doubt me again, if you choose your mother over us, there will be no third chance. It ends without a conversation, only lawyers. Understood completely. He signed every page without hesitation. He moved back in 2 weeks later into the guest room. It was 3 full months before I shared my bed again. It was my decision, not his. My work grew, and now I was earning more than him. I feel proud of you, he told me when I signed a major contract. I don't need you to feel proud. I need you to respect me as a professional. I respect you completely. Beatriz tried to contact me through a relative. She just wants a photo of her granddaughter. No, I replied firmly, and if she tries indirect contact again, I will extend the restriction from 12 to 18 years. She didn't try again. That night, lying in bed, I thought about the whole journey. It wasn't the perfect marriage from the romantic movies. It was real, with visible scars, with constant work. But it was mine, built on my terms, with my unbreakable rules. I never went back to being the woman who accepted less than she deserved. I became the woman who set firm boundaries and held them, without yielding. My daughter would grow up seeing a strong mother who defended herself without apology. I looked at my husband sleeping beside me. He had earned his place with effort and concrete actions. And if he ever stopped earning it, I knew exactly what to do, because now, finally, I controlled my own destiny completely, and that wouldn't change for anything in the world.